Peace to the MWAs. Peace to the flockulators. You and everyone you see and interact with was born into ignorance. Everyone was. Take note, MWAs, that the master, he said if one is to enter into the kingdom, he must be what? What did Christ tell Nicodemus? In order to enter the kingdom, one must be born again. So that means that everybody born into this world was born into ignorance, obviously. I don't care who they is and what they thought they was. They didn't know nothing when they was born here. Did you? So if you didn't know nothing when you was born here, then neither did anybody else. You see that, flockulators? Now, why am I saying this to you? Because if a person is not born again, then do they know anything? If a man hasn't been born again, does he actually know anything? Or is he just conjecturing, guessing, wondering, trying to think about something? Y'all hear me, little flock? He don't know anything because he's only been born once. And if you've only been born once, then you don't know anything, do you? I know something, grandson. I've only been born once, and I know some stuff, grandson. Then how come we were told to be transformed in a certain type of way? And I'm about to tell you that certain type of way. And when I tell you that certain type of way, you, that nigga with the ascot on of Intelligente, thinking that he knows something, you that said, I know some stuff, grandson, and I've only been born once by Barbara. My mother bore me and taught me this, and my daddy, he taught me of that, and the school system taught me this, and my. Yeah, you're. Still don't know nothing. Because as I said, you must be transformed by the renewing of your mind. See? So your mind got to be renewed. That means that it was one way. You thought you knew something like you said, but then it been transformed. And when your thoughts been transformed and renewed, then that means that you have a whole new mindset concerning everything. Not some stuff, everything. How do I know? Because Christ says, behold, I make all things what? Old? I make all things new. You are now a new creature. You were once a caterpillar. Now, does a caterpillar eat nectar with a proboscis, nigga? No. Does a caterpillar even have a proboscis? No. Some of you listening to me today don't even know what the hell a proboscis is. You might as well look it up on Google, nigga, and see. And when you see what a proboscis is, you'll realize that the caterpillar didn't have one of those. But when he went into his cocoon, yeah. And he went to sleep for a while and rested. When he emerged from that cocoon, he then had a proboscis. And that's not the only thing that he had that he didn't have before, is it, little flockulators? Tell him some more shit this nigga got. Most interestingly, he has wings now. And he's colorful as hell. And he got antenna on his head. And he flies about. And he doesn't even eat the same thing anymore. When's the last time any of you saw a butterfly eating some leaves? You ain't never seen it. You ain't never gonna see it. Why? Because a butterfly don't eat that no more. Because he's not the same thing that he once was. He went through a metamorphosis. So then if he can fly about, he drink nectar, he doesn't even eat leaves anymore. Do you think he has the same mindset concerning life? Come on! Do you think he has the same mindset concerning his environment? Do you think he does? No! That nigga was on a leaf. And if he was on that leaf and wanted to go to another leaf, he had to crawl. He was much afraid while he was crawling too. You know why? Because a whole lot of shit was out there waiting to eat his ass. So he had to be very careful about how he moved. He had to blend in with his surroundings just to get by. He had to go along to get along, so to speak. That's you. You had to blend in with the leaves around you so that nobody knew what in the hell you was. Why? Because they'd kill you if they knew. And you think that's strange that I say that, but what happened when Christ was going to Jerusalem? Huh? They was like, reveal yourself. Christ's own brothers said, reveal yourself to the people. And Christ says, ain't my time yet. So, do you hear what I'm saying to you? Now, when he revealed himself, what happened to him? Y'all tell me what happened to Christ when he went to Jerusalem and revealed himself. What happened to him after that shortly? Huh? Like I done told you. See? That's what happens when you be who you are. When you were that caterpillar blending all in, nobody gave a damn. Nobody thought of you as a threat. They thought of you as food. But all of a sudden, when you transformed, like the Bible says you would do in a moment, come on, in a twinkling of an eye, you shall be changed. This corruption must be put off. So then you were harmless. You weren't a threat at all when you was corrupt, was you? Hell no. You didn't have nothing to do with breaking down no systems. You didn't have nothing to do with breaking no curses. You didn't have nothing to do with healing. You didn't have nothing to do with doing what Abba told you to do because you didn't know what you were, who you were, or what you were going to be. Just like the scripture says when it says, we know not what we shall be. But when we shall see him, we shall be like him. So then, do you know what kind of body he got? Let me tell you a little bit about it. When he step off on some water, do he sink into it or do he walk across it? Huh? Let me tell you a little bit more about that body he got. After they hung him up there on the cross and saw him die before their eyes, and they pierced his side and stuck a spear up in his shit. When he came back, he said, put your hand in my side so that you can make sure I'm that same guy. Go ahead and stick it in there, Thomas. Stick your hand on in there and make sure it's me. Matter of fact, if you're still doubting, why don't you just take your thumb there and stick it in the holes in my hands? Make sure I'm me. Do you hear the kind of body that I'm describing to you? There was another time that they were inside of a house with the door locked. And all of a sudden, Christ was there standing in the midst of them niggas. So then did that door being locked keep him from entering into that room where they were? That's the kind of body I'm talking about. Do you hear what I'm saying? You shall be thrust through and you shall not be harmed by it. Yahusha showed you that, and then he said to you, greater things than what I'm doing, y'all gonna do MWAs, so you might as well get on your 10, stand there, drop the fear, and say, nigga, I'm me. Now, what you gonna do about that? Because I know y'all don't love me up here in this world, so you might as well stop faking the funk acting like you do. Because my master already told me that a whole bunch of you niggas is walking around with sheep's wool up on your ass, trying to act like you one of my folks. But when I peel back that layer, because I do like my father does when he said, you kind of people judge outward appearance, but I don't do like that. So then Abba's then taught me how to be like him. And so when I pull back that wool and I look, I see the inner workings of a nigga. And his inner workings are that of a wolf. Well, then you ain't no sheep, because a sheep don't got the nature a wolf got, do he? No, a sheep and a wolf are two manner of people. These are two different kind of people. One of them is a plain man dwelling in his tent. The other one is wild out there in the field looking for somebody to hunt. Looking for somebody who still is ignorant. In other words, looking for a damn caterpillar. Because guess what? If you eat caterpillars, that's what you're doing in life. You eat up caterpillars. Then when you see a nigga like me, you just go on by. Do you know why? Let me tell you why. The reason why you walk on by when you walk on by and see me is because I don't look like no caterpillar, nigga. Because I'm a butterfly. You don't know nothing about butterflies, so you just walk on past me, not realizing that I used to be the kind of thing that you used to devour. Ain't that true? But now that you don't know what I am, then you don't know whether I'm food or not. You don't know what I am. So therefore, you're confused. And if you keep on going forward, confused won't the only thing you will be. You will also be concussed. Dumbass Nick. I've been transformed by the renewing of my mind. Therefore, whatever I used to think, I don't think anymore. So that means the things that used to make me afraid no longer do, because my mind has been transformed concerning it. So that tells you right there where fear coming from. I want y'all to hear that, MWA, so you can get rid of your shit. So you can get rid of your false evidence appearing real. I didn't already told y'all. They judge outward appearance. So then they will get afraid. See, the caterpillars, they get afraid by how something appears. That looks like it's scary. So then I'm supposed to get scared. Look at how their mind is. But my mind is transformed. So when I see the thing, I say, oh, well, I'm calm. I don't give a damn how that thing looks. And then my comrades will look at me and say, but grandson, I mean, come on. You don't see that man standing there. You're looking all shocked at us like we're scared. You don't see the enemy, grandson? This nigga's 9 feet plus. He has on a bronze helmet upon his head. This nigga has a target between his shoulders. He has a spear like a weaver's beam, damn it. Do you see this nigga's armor upon him? Grandson, do you see him? Yes. Well, why aren't you afraid of him? Let me explain it to you niggas again. Because I don't judge outward appearance. You don't, grandson? No. Why? Because I'm a man after God's own heart. A man after God's own heart? Yes. That means I have inner workings like the Father does. When God looks at something and I look at something, we happen to feel similarly concerning it. So now back to that 9+ nigga, feet tall you was talking about standing there, breathing out all that air and every damn thing. What does God think about him? I know what you niggas think because y'all don't judge like God judges. So then you don't have the same opinion of the man. You've already told me yours. So then God's can't be the same as yours if he doesn't judge like you guys judge, does he? Damn, grandson, shit. I mean, you're quite intelligent. Maybe you need to wear the ascot. I ain't putting on no fucking ascot to prove to you niggas that I'm intelligente. What proves my intelligence is the words coming out of my mouth. Now, I'll ask you niggas again. Don't try to change the subject, nigga. How does God feel about that 9 feet plus nigga standing there? What do you think about him? God thinks that nigga ain't worth a damn. He don't think nothing about that nigga. He could throw that nigga to the side right now. So then, why aren't you judging that thing standing there like God does? Because, let me break it down for you. If you don't want to answer it, I will. Because you don't have a heart like God's heart is. You're not a man of the heart. You're not. So then you ain't no true Jew. You ain't God's people. Grandson, what do you mean I ain't no true Jew? What are true Jews? Is a Jew one outwardly? Look how I'm going to keep slicing and fucking dicing. Is a Jew one outwardly? In other words, can you tell a Jew by how he looks when he's walking up the street? No, you cannot. So then how come when you look at the earth, there's some people that call themselves Jews? How come you can tell them by how they look if that's not how you're supposed to be able to tell one? Look how I'm killing these bitches in this world. Anybody that got a fucking lie you hiding under, nigga, I'm coming for your ass. I'm telling you right now, if any of you bitches out there is hiding under a fucking rock, I'm flipping that rock over and I'm leaving no stone unturned, nigga. You can't hide in the clefts of the rock from the Son of Man who sit upon a throne. You know that? Do you know what it means to be a son of man sitting upon a throne? It means your eyes is like God's eyes. It means when you look out into the world, you see what God sees, not what men see. That's what it means. And so you handle shit accordingly. You take 5 smooth stones, and if that nigga need to be hit with 5, you gonna hit his ass 5 times, but you only gotta hit him once, don't you? Yeah, that's what I thought. But while you niggas was all scared, look at the shepherd boy. Look at the castaway. Look at the one you hate. Look how he'll save you. Look how he'll lay his life down for the flock. Look how he'll do it for you. Even when you ridicule him. Even when you tell him he can't do it. Even when you tell him he ain't fit because you judge him on outward appearance, don't you? What other reason you got to doubt David, the beloved? What other reason you got to doubt him today other than he ain't got no armor on? He ain't got no sword on his hip. He ain't got no shield in front of him. But with the stone, nigga. Something that come out the earth naturally. That ain't been changed. With a stone I prevailed over that nigga. While you was all trembling in the ditch. Stand up, my brothers. Don't be afraid today. What you scared of? Huh? What you afraid for? You got Abba today. Who can come against your father? I'll ask you all today, my people. You MWAs, you flockulators, who can come against your father today? But when you stand in your own power and you think that you got the power, you're going to fall. You're going to always fall before your enemies when you turn your face away from the Father. But what did he say? Turn your face to me. Don't you look at them niggas that's coming after you. Don't you look at them, because this day, them same niggas that's pursuing you, you won't see them no more. You ain't going to see them no more. So what you scared for? What you scared for? Y'all scared of Esau? Why? My brother can't do nothing to you. He couldn't do shit to me. So what make you think he can do something to you? He can't stop his ass from being usurped. No matter what he does. Y'all hear me, MWAs? It's inevitable that we gonna rule shit. When the inheritor come, there ain't nothing you can do to stop it. And the inheritor is here now. Can't you hear it? Can't you hear I ain't an average Negro? Y'all can't hear that? Can't you hear I ain't a normal nigga? I ain't no normal black person. Can't y'all see that? I ain't timid. I ain't shy. I ain't jigabooing. I ain't changing myself to conform to you niggas' image of this world. Why? Because I was told not to. So I don't. I got my own image. It's the image of my Father, and my Father is love. So all I have to do is abide in him and he in me. And that make us one. Now step forward then, bitch. Step forward so I can fillet you with my weapon, which be the word of God, showing the intentions of your heart, because that's what I do to a nigga when he step to me. I don't give a fuck about what you say. I don't give a fuck about what you done said. You know why? Because the scripture told me over and over and over and over to watch out for niggas that flatter with their tongue. Watch out for a nigga who words is smooth as butter. But war is in his heart. So what the fuck do you think you need to be paying attention to? This nigga words that's smooth like butter, that's easy to be received? His words were sweeter than honey. Sweeter than honey, nigga. But in his heart, he was plotting deceit. And y'all got the nerve to give a nigga word some type of credence out here? Every man lie. What the fuck I'm gonna listen to that nigga for then? That's my question, and that's how simple it is for a man like me. The hell I'm gonna listen to a nigga for that lies? And then I'm gonna take his word to the bank? If I take that nigga word to the bank, do you know what's going to happen? I'll tell y'all, flock. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to go to the bank with that nigga word. I'm going to slide it up there and say, I want to cash this in. Get my money. They're going to say, hold on, sir. Could you wait right here? I talk to my manager. Now, at that moment, I should have just ran up out of there. But I was prideful thinking I was about to get some cash. So I said, no problem. Maybe the manager got to sign off on this shit or something. No, that manager is back there telling that clerk that that's a fake ass check that you brought in there and they're going to contact the authorities. So they say, hey, sir, where'd you get this check from? Oh, I got it from that dude out there that was telling me that he had some checks here that if you cash it and you get some money and everything. Oh, interesting. All right. Give us 5 minutes. Next thing I know, here come the cops walking in saying, sir, stay right there, please. We got a couple of questions we want to ask you. This check you brought in here, it's a fake check. Trying to cash fake checks, fraud or some shit? Uh-oh, no. Then why are you here with a fake ass check? Here we come, the flock. Because that man out there told me that I get that check, I'll cash it and give me some money in my account. Y'all hear this nigga? A man told you that was going to happen. What God say men be doing? They lie. So then why in the hell you believe him? Now who's true? Tells you. Let God be true. What did God tell you? He said many people chasing after riches have done what to themselves? Pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So did you just pierce yourself there with that fake ass check chasing after some money? Yeah, I did. Why don't you listen to your husband who can see through that nigga's intention and show you what he was trying to do to you, which was this result, to get your ass caught up in some bullshit. And then it worked. He trapped you. He caught you in a snare. You can't catch a nigga in a snare unless you put some enticement there. You don't entice a nigga with a snare by putting a grizzly bear there. You hear what I'm saying? You don't put a rope and then inside of the rope you put a grizzly bear and then you tell a nigga, all right, let's see if I can catch me a nigga today. You ain't gonna catch you no niggas if you put a bear in there to try to entice him. You gotta put something he wants there. When you put a mouse trap, don't you put some peanut butter or a fucking piece of cheese or something on the damn trap? See how you gotta put something that entices him, man? Something that will appeal to his appetites. So then he looks at it and he goes, ooh, I want that. And the nigga go get it and then can snap. Oh, my back. Spinal. Yeah, nigga. You broke your back. Spinal. That nigga broke his back, flock. Chasing after a piece of cheese. If we were mice and I was a preacher, I'd stand before the mice and I'd say, now I'm going to translate what I said to my mice family. Many mice chasing after cheese have broken their backs many times and have received an injury of spinal. To their spinal. You hear me? They've received a death injury to their spinal. Chasing after cheese. So I would implore most of you to beware of the cheese you chase after. beware, because it just might be a snare there. You hear me? So same what it is with us. They don't need to put cheese on the trap when it comes to a human being. You put money on there. Shit, that's what you put there. Now, speaking of this, I received a message from the Father a couple of days ago, and I'll just share it with you guys because it happens to randomly click right like Legos onto what I'm saying here today. I received a message from the Father the other day randomly, and the message was that the enemy will use money or silver. The word he gave me means money or silver. See? The enemy will use money and silver to ambush you by drawing you out of your place of protection. That was the message the Father gave me that day. Now, I just shared it with you. So what did I just tell you again? That your enemy is using money and silver as a means to entice you out of your protection. In other words, to entice you away from your husband so that you would chase after the money. And in that process, you will be snared and you will be ambushed like the mouse when that bar that flipped off of that spring came down across his spine. It snapped it. Now he's dead. Do y'all hear me? So many chasing after money, like the Bible said. So if that's your temptation, then when a nigga want to ambush you, he entices you with some money. Isn't that what people of the world be doing? They'll say, yeah, it's a drug deal, man. It's going down at 2:00 under the freeway, man. All right. Over there on 6th Avenue. Be there. All right. The nigga bring the drugs. He's about to wait to get the money. But the nigga that's called for the deal, they don't have no money. So what he does is he brings a bag full of newspaper like it's money. And when they do the switcheroo, the man unzips the bag. But when he unzips the bag to look for the money, there ain't no money in there. A gunfight breaks out and the guy gets killed. So the guy that brought the drugs gets killed because he was ambushed. Scootin' doodle doo doodle doo. Can y'all hear me breaking this shit down today? Hope you can, because I'm breaking it down so nice and crystal clearly, I believe. What about you? What do you believe? It's an ambush. So that means that many people right now are about to get their spine snapped. Why? The Bible already told you. I quoted it. I'll quote it again. Chasing after vain riches is why. Vain means empty, profitless. So chasing after money that doesn't have a profit to it. Look at what I'm trying to say to you guys here. You all are spending all your time for paper. Right? Well, shit, I didn't think about that, but yeah, no, you did think about it, nigga. That's all y'all think about. What do you think? Don't you think it's interesting when the Bible says you can either serve God or mammon? You can't serve two. How come it give you them two options? Now, what is mammon? Mammon is wealth and riches. Material wealth and riches. So then you can't serve both. So that means if you're not serving God, then what are you serving in this current world? Come the fuck on. You get up every day and labor. Labor means serving, nigga. You serve all day. What do you serve for? Like I told you, mammon. Mammon. So then if you all are serving mammon, then mammon pulls the strings in your life. Mammon tells you when to wake up. Mammon tells you when to take a break. Mammon tells you when you can take a fucking vacation. Mammon tells you how much money you're going to be making that year. Mammon tells you where you're going to live, what neighborhood you can afford to live in. Mammon is telling you your social status. Mammon is pulling the strings. Mammon is telling you everything because you're serving mammon. That's your master, according to the Bible. You can't serve both. So now I got a question, all of you that say you serve God. If you say you serve God, can you serve God and mammon? So then why are you serving mammon and saying you're serving God? You can't. I'm just reminding you of what he said. He says you can't. So then what that mean, grandson? We have to live. What did the master tell you? That's all I'll say to you. What did the master say about your living? Take no thought for your life. That is what you must do when you break away from what was sustaining your life, you thought, which was what? Mammon was. You needed some food, you spent some money for it, nigga. You needed clothes, you bought it with money. You needed some shelter, you paid for it with money. So you believed that money provided you those things. What did Christ tell you? Take no thought for what you shall eat. I told you, mammon is what you use to buy your groceries. He says take no thought for fucking groceries. Take no thought for what you shall put on. You use mammon to buy all of your fancy clothes you like wearing. But the master you say you serve and love says take no thought for what you'll put on. He also said the Son of Man have not where to lay his own damn head. But all of you are so concerned about that you labor and labor and labor, so much so that you're crying in the car on the way to laboring. You get up in the morning, you're broke the fuck down because you're unrested, you're tired, you're heavy laden, and you're laboring. What did Christ say to people like you? Come to him, and he will give you rest for all that stress. But you guys don't believe him, so you don't come to him. You stay working in Egypt. Now, what were the children of Israel crying out to God about when they were in Egypt? Watch when you see what it is. Were they crying because it was hot as fuck in Egypt? Is that what they were crying out about? Because it tells you specifically what it was. Everybody knows the children of Israel were delivered out of Egypt. My question is, what were they crying out to God about that made God deliver them? What were they crying out to God about? The hard labor. Click. Can you fuck with me? Can you? They were crying out because of the hard labor. That's what it says. So then they were crying out for what? Rest? Yes. And what did God say? That they didn't enter into the rest for what reason? Because they didn't believe it. So I'll ask you, what was God trying to teach the Israelites by taking them out of Egypt where they used mammon to provide their daily bread because they said it? At least we had some food to eat in Egypt. At least I had this and had that. See? So then in Egypt means to slave labor, of a wage slave. That's what it means. You're a wage slave. So you work for wages. You slave for wages. That's what it means. So now you've been using that as a way of means of living. Even though it's miserable to you and you're losing your life doing it every day, your life is decreased every day and you're dying every day doing it, you think you're getting life. See how he says if you seek to save your own life, you'll lose it? You're losing your life every day thinking you're saving it. But if you give it up, see, give it up means to stop worrying about how you'll take care of yourself, to stop worrying about where you'll live, to stop worrying about whether you'll have enough money or not to feed yourself and your family. Stop thinking about that shit. Stop stressing. Stop forcing yourself to do something you hate doing every day, killing yourself. Stop forcing yourself to do the shit because you think that if you don't do it, you won't survive. I know that's why the fuck you're doing it. Don't lie to me today. You're doing it because you think you won't survive if you don't do it. That's what he came to save us from, Israelites. That's what he came to save us from. From our heavy laden, stressed out labor. That's what he said. Them type of people come to me. And I'll give you rest. Take no thought for your life. Look at the birds. Why would you teach somebody that if they don't need a metamorphosis in the way they think about how to sustain their life? They must have a metamorphosis. Like he said, you must be born again. You thought that was the way to live. That was normal. And the people of that system will reinforce it to you. In other words, if you don't work, they will come around you and show you that they're pissed off that you're not. Why don't you get a fucking job, lazy ass nigga? You got the nerve to be complaining because you ain't got some shit. Why don't you get a fucking job and go get some money, nigga? Then you'll have some shit. That's how they talk about it. That's how they talk about you. That's how they think about a nigga that don't work for the system. That's how they treat you. Why? So that you will give up who you are and come and be conformed to it. That's why. Remember, Christ said, what is this generation like? It is like kids running through the marketplace, piping and playing a song. And then they look at you and wonder why you don't dance to it. That's what he said this generation is like. So that's what I'm telling you. The generation you live in is like. It's just a bunch of people that are going along to the tune of this world. When you don't dance to it, they all turn like fucking zombies. They all turn at you and look at you and wonder why your ass isn't dancing. The zombie is not interested in eating nobody like him. If you act like him, he won't fuck with you. If you smell like him, he won't fuck with you. If you walk like him, he won't fuck with you. If you act like this nigga, he won't fuck with you. But the moment you act as though you're alive at all, then his attention immediately turns and goes to you so that he may devour you and turn you into what he is. Is this true? The Walking Dead wants to turn you into what it is, another unit. Another person under the program being the Walking Dead. The system can't tolerate a living being, so it will seek to devour them all. Isn't that the way it works, little flock? A horde of thousands of these niggas will come around one house if it has a living being inside of it, so that they can devour that light. Isn't that true? So then so it is with you. So it is with me. So it is with any carrier of the light. And this is why he had to tell us not to put it under a bushel. What do you think you'll do when you see a bunch of zombies coming? You're going to cover that shit. Oh, shit. Yeah. Give me the guts and everything, Brad. Give me some of them guts so I can rub it all over myself. Brad's like, wait a minute. What are you doing that for? You don't see the fucking zombies coming? Yeah, I see them coming. Why are you rubbing guts and shit all over yourself and tearing your clothes all down and everything? What are you doing? Why are you covering your head all with the blood and every damn thing, man? What are you doing there? While he's saying, what are you doing? They then gobbled his ass up from behind. But when they came sniffing on me, they thought I was one of them. So they just passed on by. So then, in order for you to walk through and find out the truth, that when you just let your light shine, you don't have to have any fear. You can just walk right through the midst of these niggas like Yahusha did. When you realize that, then you just start doing it. You stop having fear. You just walk through with your light shining. And every time one come growling, you transform his ass with love. You transform that nigga through love. Every time they come, and every other sound that nigga make, I look at that nigga, peace be still. Hi, how you doing today? My name is Daryl. Wow, how did you do that to me? Hi, Daryl. I loved you. That's what I did. And love conquers all. Even that stinking ass breath you just had, all of that weird ass way you were walking, and that gangling ass way of talking and everything you were doing. Love conquered all of it, didn't it? And now you're sitting here dressed, eating, talking, and in your right mind, aren't you? Now, why am I saying that? Because that's what Christ did. There was a nigga running toward him going, with a blade cutting himself, with a stone, cutting his own damn self, living in a tomb. Living in a tomb. Now, I had told you, flockulators, before I end this message, I had told you, flockulators, I was going to drop a message about Legion, right? Y'all know who that is. It's a story I just told you. The man living in the tombs with Legion. And when he ran up out of there, he saw Christ and he got, Christ, are you here to destroy me? Do you see the difference when you let your light shine versus putting the shit under a bushel and trying to walk through there? No need to put it under a bushel. Let it shine like he told you to. And you see what happens? That man that had the Legion was sitting there in his right mind, the Bible says. Now, I said I was going to make a message about Legion. So I'll save the information concerning the tombs, concerning the man cutting himself, concerning why the place he came, why it was named, what it was named, the Gergesens, why that all took place, why Christ had to go over some water to get there. I'll break all that down, little flock, when Abba is willing. I thought it was going to be 2 or 3 messages ago, but Abba's will was that it would be not so. He has his perfect time for it. But I want you all to know, little flock, that when I told you I saw a wolf standing there on the hill, that's who I was talking about. And he is many, like I said. Well, like he said. So Abba wants to expose that in his own personal timing. So when that happens, little flock, I will definitely share that information with you all. But as for now, we're done, little flock. Y'all go frolic in the lilies over there. Go down by the still waters and get you a drink. Come on back and graze at these green pastures, and we're going to sit here and relax and chill and be blessed like we always are, little flockulators. Silouan, Israel.